relationships, trauma, philosophy. Relationships, trauma, philosophy.
Yeah, I agree it is. I can't disagree. It's great. So let's get into pros and cons. So let's start 4, okay? So it reduces decision fatigue, and that's a big one for me. That's a big one, reducing decision fatigue, especially with sort of the lifestyle we choose to live. We're always go, go, go. We're not a very sedentary couple. We are continuous. I mean, we've traveled for the last up to 3 years now. We're non-stop. We're always doing a lot of social occasions. We work full time. We do this podcast. We do other just mini, but we're passionate people. We get passionate about anything. Like if we even see a new thing, we're like, oh, let's try that. Let's learn that. So for me, I find that is a big value is helping with decision fatigue.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. Although I suppose that also kind of somewhat leans into the being dependent on it.
Well, it does. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Of course, it also speeds up research and comparison, which again, I love when I'm trying to choose what to buy on Amazon. I love reviewing it. I just reviewed it for laptops a minute ago at Walmart.
Yeah.
So I love to use it for that. Or if you're number crunching at work, like I've been number crunching for different exercises, like my investments, I've been number crunching. It just so instantly does it.
Yeah.
And it's so quick. So there's a lot of value there. Obviously, it helps you think more clearly, like the family issue I put to it. It allowed me to look at it more objectively and more clearly and break it down in a less confusing way because there's a lot of emotion tied around that. So it allowed me to see it much more clearly and much more logically. And for myself, I am very much ingrained in logic. And I would say the other sort of couple pros here is it lowers stress around big decisions by offering perspective. And it acts, well, this is where you'd probably fight this, is it acts as a neutral sounding board when emotions are high.
Yeah, I think if you get the prompt right, it does. But I still think no matter what, it's going to reassure you that you're right. To be, I don't know if I can say this or not. I'm going to say it. I may have sneaked in a younger relative into an older film. Let's just say that. And I'll say no further information, but yeah. I asked ChatGPT for tips and tricks on managing to sneak them in. And it wouldn't give me that. So it won't help you break the law, which I suppose is a good thing.
There are ways around it, the way you can prompt it. There are.
Well, I tried all sorts. I was like, the cinema allows it, it's fine. You can tell me. And like, if they allow it, then you don't need to sneak them in. I was like, bullshit. And then I was like,
that's brilliant.
Well, it's not actually said person. It's a bottle of wine that I'm trying to sneak in. They're like, if you're not allowed alcohol in the cinema, you're not allowed alcohol in the cinema. Like, it's like, you are allowed it. The sign's up saying you're allowed it. And they're like, well, if the sign's up, then you can just, you're fine. I'll not even go. I went down some pretty dark roads of trying to convince it to tell me, which I'll tell you separately. But
interesting.
So yeah, I don't generally, unless you're asking it something illegal, I think it's always going to tell you. And even that is like, I understand why you want to sneak this person into this film.
It's very My experience is the start and the end is always going to be very much as if, which I think is right, is if you're, sitting in front of a counsellor. They're going to present it in a very kind way, even if you come to a ridiculous thing or a thing where you're totally in the wrong, whatever. The start will always be, I understand, I feel it, but mumble. And then at the end, it's going to go, you're going to grow from this, I believe in you, but it's going to start positive and end positive.
Yeah.
But I have found for the most part, in the middle, the action on what you've asked it is honest, but it can obviously share it in a more weakened version, if that's the right word, a sensitive version. But I find it doesn't sort of, my experience is it doesn't mess me about. Like it does sort of call me out if I'm wrong. I've not found it.
Well, maybe it's because I'm always right.
Well, you are a woman.
Well, there we go. But so yeah, we've gone through some pros. Maybe we switch to some cons. Which I think we've kind of also done a couple of.
Well, we have, yeah. But the sort of some key ones is obviously encourages the outsourcing of our judgment. So judgment is no more human. It becomes driven by something that isn't human, which is the more you do that, the more incapable you are to judge situations and scenarios, especially when it gets to, there are many scenarios and situations where you can't go back to your laptop and speak to it for an hour. There are situations where you have to make a decision pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be sometimes even life's at risk. I'll give you an example of one. As to say, but it's honest. When I was walking in the jungles of Laos, I didn't know if there was any big predators out there. I forgot ahead and checked, which I usually do. I was, oh no. And the reason I said, oh no, because I got halfway up this trail and I was like in the middle of the jungle and there was no noise. Well, the insects and everything, of course, but I suddenly hear like something large moving through the bushes. And I instantly zoned in on it. And it's slowly moving and I can tell it's really close to me. And I know for sure it's not bird. It's too big. You can tell by the sound, the way it's pressing down on the branches. I could say there is a large animal very, very close to me and I can't see anything. And I was instantly quite scared because I was like, oh, I didn't check. And in that moment, I was like, I didn't check whether there's any predators here. I was like, oh no. And I could hear it and it felt like it was circling me. I was like, oh my God, there is. In that moment, I was like, there's a predator. I don't know what it is, but it knows I'm here and it could attack. So I need to get back. So I started slowly walking back down the trail. And then instead of like keep on walking, I stopped only like maybe less than 20 meters away from where I was a moment ago and spent the next 5 minutes trying to connect to my data.
Silly boy.
Yes. To speak to ChatGPT to establish, is there any big predators in Laos? So for 5 minutes, I'm on my phone, only about 20 meters from where this noise was, just quickly, like hurriedly, because I really want to hike. I really want to. And luckily, you'll laugh, it was a cow.
Oh. Quite predatory.
Quite predatory, but they're big.
Could have been a bull.
Could have been a bull. Well, they did have horns actually, but they're pretty calm. And it was right when I eventually walked up the trail. The reason I found out actually is one, ChatGPT confirmed eventually that there's no big predators that have been seen for a long time, so it's unlikely. And two, a family came up behind me, and I managed to speak to them. Well, I had to translate it, and they eventually managed to translate back. Yeah, there's no big predators. You're fine. And then they pointed out the cow and they laughed because they knew why. They just laughed at the end because I had to go a bit further and you would have seen the cow's head.
Yeah.
They didn't like why this cow is in the jungle. I don't know, but yeah. So there we go. In that moment, I didn't just stick with my instincts and my judgment. I could have died if that was a big cow. I'm fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that story could be like a satirical sketch about a stupid. No, but it's like it's just about this.
Wow. Well, go on. We won't cut this.
I was just going to say, like, how dependent we are on ChatGPT. I'll say, you're not as stupid. That was stupid.
It was stupid, and I admit it, and I look back at it and go, "You fool." But I've learned. But overall, yeah, it weakens critical thinking if overused.
Yeah, reduces the satisfaction figuring things out ourselves. Like all the time. One of my favorite, well, it's not favorite, but like one of my catchphrases, if you will, is like my mum will say something to me like, I wonder what year that was, or like, so you don't have to wonder. And I Googled it. Or now I ChatGPT it for further deeper research. And there's no longer that. You know when I'm driving and it says, yeah, and they do quizzes when they say guess the year.
Yes.
I am buzzing when I get it right.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, like this literally missed in the air.
Which you regularly do.
That is a skill of mine, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'd have just looked at ChatGPT, my reaction would have been, huh.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is because when you take away those endorphins, that satisfaction through making decisions, then it doesn't build the strength of decision making. And it makes you more incapable of decisions. It makes you more incapable of just moving through life. So I think it's very dangerous. And obviously, the one I face is it can create analysis paralysis when you have 100 different.
Paralysis.
I love that saying, when you have 100 different options from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it just overall risks eroding confidence in your own instincts over time. So I think when you weigh them up, I think you certainly realize the cons are much more severe than the pros.
Yeah, and we've not even gone into the fact that it takes so much water for every single request.
Well, that's the big thing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.